Hey, Brad Kazmarski back. Before we move on to the third step in the progression, which could be, it's really kneeling or half kneeling. I think in this case it kind of just be upright. The quadruped, I went through T-spine mobility and then some shoulder activation patterns. I think the missing or the final piece of that puzzle, just like one on the ground, would be some sort of integration of being able to move the T-spine and move the arm through the range of motion that you need to. I currently don't know of anyone that's perfect out there. If anybody could think of one and let me know, that'd be awesome. But the closest thing I could think of would maybe be a pattern assistance here, and you're actually working through a little bit of internal, external rotation. But I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know about a perfect one that links those that pattern together in the final piece. But those in general will work well enough. We're going to move on to the next step, which could be considered kneeling or half kneeling, which technically is. In this, we're going to do something seated, just because that's the way it works. There's so many options. We'll just go through a couple. Going back to the seated T-spine test that we did, watch the old videos of this progression if you haven't yet. Seated T-spine test, that's where we're going to be to make sure we have the T-spine mobility we need to in this pattern. If we don't have that, we can take this from like Mike Boyle or somebody else. You can take this and sit on it if you don't have the mobility yet to sit back. That's in the next videos as we come along. Lock it, knees together here, arms up. We're just going to go to the side, tilt, go to the side, tilt, go to the side, and go both ways. Try to be able to get each way up till about 45 degrees. You've seen that probably from Mike Boyle, other people, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. That would be one of the T-spine mobilities that you could do, and then retest in the seated rotation that I showed earlier in the video. So do that, retest, till you can get the T-spine mobility that you need at that pattern, since you've already got it at the others. Then in the wall slide I've already filmed, so someone just asked yesterday actually about the previous wall slide video I filmed, so go to shoulder mobility corrections if you haven't seen it yet. We put the wall slide on there. Yes, you should be able to get that even, guys. If you're stiff or whatever reason you can't maintain back against the wall during a wall slide, you should be able to have that normal range of motion. So that for us, once we've got the T-spine, is going to be the arm range of motion. Okay, so Dr. Evan Oscar, I think is how you pronounce it, talks about in that pattern, the arm when it comes back down, it's more to do with the eccentric ability of the shoulder to stabilize than it is almost in the concentric. So it's the coming down part that people have more trouble with. But so going through the wall slide will kind of expose that once you have the right T-spine mobility. And again, the final piece of the puzzle, putting it together, I don't know of a perfect one to put it together, but you're also going to go to kneeling or half kneeling chops, which I'll show what you get to work. I think the lift actually is the better option versus the chop from the kneeling or half kneeling position in the shoulder correction, but I'll do that when I get to work. So in this pattern, test T-spine rotation, seated, like I have done in the video before. Seated then, right here, T-spine correction, retest, get your mobility. Wall slides, make sure you can hit those wall slides. They'll tell you if something's off on that a little bit. And then finally putting it back together, that's what we need to come up with next, is a final piece of the puzzle in kneeling or half kneeling, just the upright transition to be able to tie together that T-spine and that internal external rotation, and that's where we're at now, trying to figure out a good one for that.